Hello and welcome to Freedom Through Astrology, where we're giving you the keys amidst all the technical difficulties we're having today with internet being out, etc. This is freedomthroughastrology.com. I'm your astrologer. My name is Donald Patak. There's my contact information, and this is a copyrighted presentation, standard YouTube copyright, etc. Keys to the reading. I read what is called constellational astrology, also known as true sidereal. Putting it simply, it's astrology by the visible sky. Tropical astrology fixes the signs to seasons. I practice astrology by astronomy. If you were to ask an astronomer where the planet Jupiter is and ask me, we would agree. So it's astrology, it's way the ancients practiced astrology, where they use the visible sky over everything being fixed and stuck. I use the natural size of the constellations. There are astrologers who make each constellation 30 degrees, when in reality, they're all over the place. Virgo is just under 50 degrees. Scorpio, Libra, Aries, Cancer, they're all less than 25. If you were to take the four largest constellations, which would be Virgo, Leo, Pisces, and Sagittarius, you have over 180 degrees. I had it calculated at one time, I forgot. So natural size of the constellations. I use astrological midpoints. It was noted that the boundaries are made by the IAU, and people were looking and saying, well, the IAU boundaries have stars from this constellation in a different one, which is wrong. So Athens Shementi came up with a midpoint system, which looks at the zodiac belt. Where's the last bright stars in constellation A, first bright stars in constellation B, using geometry, what's the midpoint, and we're good. I have two cats on my lap, and I'm not sitting with my legs crossed, so it's a very narrow seat for them. It's chilly here in Western New York today. I think we're a grand whopping total of, it's 43 degrees outside, with a low of 33 possible. Joyce. So yeah, 13 degrees. I use 13 signs. Back to, I don't suffer from ADD, ADHD. I enjoy every minute of it. It's just going to drive you nuts. So I use astrological midpoints. I use 13 signs. In ancient times, there were 13 signs. If you look at the zodiac belt, as done by astronomers, you will see there's Scorpio, there's a gap, and there's Sagittarius. Between Scorpio and Sagittarius is Ophiuchus, the wounded healer. It's where you're wounded so you can learn to heal yourself and then be a mentor to others with similar wounds. So that's core. This is the weekly edition. So I'm looking at universal lessons for everyone. This is what everybody is facing. So have some compassion on your fellow dirt trotters, please. I interpret using evolutionary astrology, which says these are lessons to learn. Each planet, each sign is a teacher. There's a high road, there's a low road. I encourage you to take the high road, the low road sucks. My dates are based on the Eastern US time zone, so your mileage may vary. And I'm looking at, for the most part, I'm looking at planets that are within 1 degree of being exact. I could use a wider orb, but then that got a little overwhelming for me. And if I'm overwhelmed, you can get lost. There will be an exception to that rule this week because of what's happening on the day of the full moon, but otherwise everything's within 1 degree. And weekly transits for October 14th through the 20th, 2024. The sun is still in Virgo, our incredibly large constellation. She's 48.5 degrees or so in the sky. It's huge. So she's going to be there through the rest of October. The moon starts out the week in Aquarius. Independence moves into Pisces, just being present. That's where the full moon will be in Pisces. We'll then step into Aries, having courage, and then Taurus, finding peace and stability. The active planet for this week. I'm not going to look at what's happening on Monday and Tuesday. I'm going to talk about it, but I'm looking at what's new this week. The active planet this week really is Venus. It's the only planet making any transits that's new. Everything else is hangovers from last week, or hold-ons from last week. So the active planet for the week is Venus, and it's aspecting Neptune, Pluto, and the North Node in that order. Our power transit, we do have still carrying on Jupiter sextiling Chiron. They're both retrograde. So this is a time of reflection for these. And I'll talk about that. And we have a lot going retrograde right now. Jupiter, Saturn, Jupiter, opportunity. Yeah, that literally is opportunity. Saturn, growth, maturity. Uranus, your independence, or Uranus, however you want to say it. Neptune, your ability to be spiritual and present in the moment. And finally, Chiron. Chiron really belongs in its orbit between Saturn and Uranus. One of these days, I will move it there in my chart. Let me pull myself down here now. There we go. And this is our week. And let me pull up my drawing doodler. And as you can see, all this here is last week. And this is the new week. So as you can see, really only 3 transits, 1 planet change. I forgot to put that in. We have a planet change. Venus is entering Scorpio. My bad. I'll fix it later. No point now. How did I miss that? Even in practice. Oh, well. But as you can see, Monday, Tuesday, we're finishing off the weekend and a lot of business with the sun. Mars is particularly active, as is Chiron in healing. So Monday, Tuesday, plenty of healing. But starting Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, even Sunday, it's a little blurb, but it starts here in the Eastern time zone. But as we go west, Toes, it's okay. I got you. You're gonna be safe. One second. There we go. All right. My legs are going to fall asleep, but there we go. You sit there, get yourself cozy. It's a 12-year-old cat. It's okay. There you go. So there we go. So Monday, Tuesday, little into Wednesday, but mostly Monday and Tuesday, we're finishing off this very intense weekend. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're dealing with Venus, a lot of the little bit of Venus transits, the full moon, and Venus changing sign into Scorpio. And on Sunday, the Venus with the North Node. So let me clear that out. And then, whoops, I got to close this. That's right. So our long transit for the week, we do have Jupiter retrograde, Chiron. And this is the opportunity for healing. And are you finding peace and stability in this in your healing? So that's what this is about. This began back in September. It will be exact on November 2nd, and it leaves the current projection is November 18th, give or take. Because of the length, things do change a little bit. But reflecting on healing can lead the opportunity to find more peace and stability. Learning to be present can also be very important. Be open to deep healing as well. Never doubt your ability and the ability of spirit to work in times of stillness. It is possible to release wounds and recover your strength. So that is a good thing. Okay, Toes is now cozy. Avoid falling into over and under confidence on your ability to heal, and also be careful of denial and trying to escape wounds. Denying that there's actually a wound in the first place and trying to numb the pain can lead to all sorts of problems. So do be very, very careful of that. This is a long transit. Like I said, this goes into November. Did a little rearranging for this one from Friday. We also have Mars in Gemini squaring Chiron in Pisces. So Mars in Gemini is having the courage to learn. And the challenge is here is what you're learning helping you to heal and release wounds. So that's ideally what's happening, is that's what you're gaining out of this. You're learning how to heal wounds, release them, and that's helping you find more strength. The shadow of this is falling into fear, reopening wounds, and just falling into greater pain and trying to find ways to deny or escape it. And that can undermine, and that can lead you into fear and undermine your ability to heal and also affect your self-confidence as well. So that's one square. From Saturday, Mars will be squaring the sun in Virgo. And here the sun in Virgo is learning to improve. And the sun is your core identity or your ego, whichever one you want to use. I always, when I say ego, I know people get a little defensive. We can't bad to have an ego. We're here to shed the ego. The word ego really refers to your core identity and your personality. You came here to heal it. So this is the work of becoming better at who you really are at heart, is what you're learning, helping you to become more, become more of who you really are. And that's the challenge. The shadow is holding yourself up to unrealistic expectations or not thinking you can do it at all, and holding yourself to an unrealistic standard. And that undermines your ability to learn. And that drives you into fear, anger, and everything just collapses. Big bad thing. So we talked about that. Having the ability to learn and to grow and become a better version of who you are. Okay, wait a minute, I missed something. Here we go. Yep. And be careful falling into fear, playing the victim, setting those unrealistic expectations can just really undermine you. Turn this into a stumbling block, and you'll become less of who you really are. And then this also happens on Saturday. Sun is opposite Chiron. So this is you becoming a better version of who you are. Chiron in Pisces is learning just to be present and heal the wounds. So that's the reflection, is are you doing the work to become a better version through this healing? But Mars is in a square to both. That creates a T-square. So if you're learning, if this knowledge is helping you to become a better version of who you are and heal the wounds, all of them get strengthened, particularly Mars, because that boosts your confidence and your ability to learn. However, should any one of these falter or fail, this whole thing comes crashing down, and your confidence and your ability to learn will fall to pieces, leading to deeper wounding, undermining your core identity. So do be careful with that. Mercury has a lot of squares, if you haven't noticed. Mercury is in a square to, and this is a releasing square, is in a releasing square to Pluto and Sagittarius. I'll introduce you to everybody after this, okay? Toes wants to be the kitten commercial, so we'll have a kitten commercial in a moment. Mercury Virgo, you learning to become better, improving your ability, your skill and ability in learning and communicating. What? Pluto in Sagittarius, Pluto is transforming. So this is transforming your ability to learn and communicate. What? Your values and belief systems. Are you getting to learn them better? Are you releasing beliefs that no longer serve you and letting them go? So accept that challenge of releasing those old truths. Speak out them if you need to be. Do expect to deal with new truths, hidden information. This can be transforming. The shadow, this is a square. It can be strengthening and a stepping stone, or it. Thank you, Toes, or not Toes, that was Kit, who just jumped me back to the beginning. So this can become a stumbling block, where these new beliefs become a stumbling block, or your ability to your ability to communicate causes you to stumble and fall. Be careful focusing too much on practical, that the ideals get lost. Also blinding yourself to information that can help you grow, really shattering. Avoid disinformation and living out lies as well. Either one can lead to a collapse of confidence in your ability to learn and communicate. That'll be ending on Monday. Saturday as well, Sun is in a trine to Jupiter. Jupiter is opportunity to find peace and stability. And the Sun is in Virgo, becoming a better version of who you are. Are you finding peace? Are you, as you become closer to who you are and you're working on that, is that helping you find peace and stability? And with that being a trine, this is an easy opportunity to do that, an easy time. A little bit of energy goes a long way. So hold on a second. Having more self-confidence can be good. Evaluate yourself are you finding peace and stability and learning who you are? Take time to establish a firm foundation. Be careful squandering opportunities and wasting time. Jupiter and Taurus can be overconfidently lazy and thinking you're more further along than where you are, or it can be underconfident and lazy as well. And not doing the work, and therefore you become less of who you are. Be careful of squandering those opportunities. Also avoid ego rushes and bashing, over underestimating yourself. All this can lead to bad mistakes and unrealistic expectations and crashes. And on Sunday, the moon will enter Aquarius. Did I miss something? Oh, yeah. The moon will enter Aquarius. Oh, technical difficulties have been the story of my day today. The moon will enter Aquarius seeking independence and freedom from approval, learning to be who you really are emotionally, feeling the freedom to be yourself. It's a time for a little independence from others. Be careful of acting up and acting out, or acting up, acting out, or selling out. Neither one of those will bring you any satisfaction. In fact, they'll turn people off from you. Also, we have Venus in opposition to Uranus and Taurus. So Venus, relationships, creativity. Uranus is your ability to be authentic and who you really are. Are you being who you are in your relationships? And it might mean having some unusual friends, and that's okay. Do it. So yeah, reflect on whether you're being yourself, authentic in your relationships, and if you're allowing others the same opportunity. Keeping yourself and others in older routines can be boring. So learn to be who you really are. And Venus in Libra, things don't always have to make sense. I've got some very strange friends. People like, how are you guys friends? Just because it's the way it works. That's okay. Falling into predictable routines, being indecisive, or giving powers away, giving your powers away, can be very, very destabilizing. And you pretending to be somebody that you're not can really ruin things. And take a breath. Remember to exhale. And this is our kitten commercial. This is Toes. There you go. Nice smoky gray cat. She's 12 years old this year. Yeah. So Monday, 14th, take a breath. Remember to exhale. A lot of transits are going to be ending today. They'll either be going exact or ending. So you'll be feeling a lot of time of release. So do take time to feel the release and let it happen. Tuesday, the moon will enter Pisces. Monday in the United States, by the way, is a federal holiday, so good day to take off if you can. Tuesday, moon enters Pisces. Time to seek a new vision for this time around. Release the old vision. We're approaching the new moon. Release the old vision, let it go, open yourself up to a new vision, learning just to be present. Look for opportunities for spiritual growth. Also, remember to take a little time here and there for some peace and quiet. It can be good for you. Withdrawing from the world, isolating yourself can lead to deep loneliness. Also, falling into fantasy or escapism, whatever you use to escape. And some people think that means drugs and alcohol. It can be binge watching TV or burying yourself into a book and trying to avoid your responsibilities. It's whatever you do to avoid responsibility. That's how you escape. And be careful of that. And today we have Venus in Libra, trining Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So Venus in Libra, again, relationships. And Neptune is asking you just to be present. Neptune in Pisces, are you being present? And that's all, don't just do something, sit there. Are you able just to be with people and let them be themselves? Are you able to be with people and just be yourself? That's important right now. So learn to let go of what's keeping you from being present in your relationships. Things don't have to make sense. That's fine. Just let them be. Also look to the spiritual side of your relationships. How can that be strengthening? How could that help you? How could that help strengthen your relationships or make them better? How can that also help you release things? Also enjoy quiet times together if you can. Be careful of falling for illusion about another person or groups of people, or deluding yourself about who you really are. Falling into escapism or loneliness can create more isolation than it is healthy to have. Yes, you do need time alone, but that time alone prepares you to be back with people. So do be careful here. This has the potential to make things easier in your life, and it's possible for you to make a big mess here. But yes. Wednesday. Hey, let's have more fun with Venus. Dr. Danny would love this conversation. Dr. Danny and I probably have a great conversation. It's okay, Toes. I'm sorry. You want to lay on your side? Okay. There you go. Lay on your side. She's 12 years old, and it's so hard for her to get comfortable now. There you go. So Venus, relationship, Pluto, transformation, transforming your what? Sagittarius, belief systems, ideals about your relationships. Are things, and again, are things making sense here? No. But there's an excitement about letting the old go so you can embrace the new. And with Venus being in Libra, paradox is perfectly fine. People aren't going to understand that. That's okay. Let them not. So be able to add depth to relationships, see what can be added, explore beliefs. What doors can they open up? Being honest with others also can be very, very helpful here, you know? Honesty in relationships can actually help make them better. And there could be an excitement in doing this and helping to improve things. Uh, be careful here. Again, Venus can be slick and manipulative. Pluto, instead of healing and transforming, can be deeply wounding. And this can lead you to getting stuck and fighting to hold on to the past rather than moving bravely into the future with other people, holding on to the past. Why do we have to change things for good? It can create problems. So be careful of seeing things, relationship that are not actually there, can pull life out of balance, send relationships out of balance as well. And trying to cling to these old belief systems that are really ready to be let go of can also create more problems than what it's worth. Wednesday, that was Wednesday. Thursday, we have the full. This happens Eastern time zone. This happens early in the morning, right after sunrise. And there's a lot going on here, but I'm going to talk about it and then I'm going to explain it. So the sun is actually in opposition to the moon, but it's also in opposition to Chiron. Why is that pink? Oh, that's because it's the T squared of Pluto. That's fine. Okay. I forgot that's part of the explanation to remind me to talk about it. So first we have the sun reflecting on the moon, but the moon is conjunct Chiron. So this is reflecting on emotional healing, and the sun in Virgo is you working on who you really are and becoming more of who you really are. Your core identity. Uh, and is this and reflecting on that emotional healing, and how are you doing with that? So the moon will also be conjunct. Okay, so reflecting on the healing that's been done and the progress you're making, learning to be present can be a gift. Do pay attention to your moods, ask why they're happening, and in response to what. So when your moods do change, and look at the situation around you instead of getting caught up on it, reflect on it. Can actually in this day actually be very helpful. So reflection today will be a very helpful thing. Creating a disconnect between being and doing, or having a power struggle between them, can put life out of balance. So the sun trying to get better and ignoring your emotional self, trouble waiting to happen, pull things out of balance. You might achieve something, but at what price? Also avoid playing up drama or falling into it. Be deeply wounding. Okay, now I'm going to talk about some other things that are going on. Let me get my doodling tool here just so we can see this. So we do have the sun and the moon. So that's that black line. That's number one. Number two, I should have drawn this in. I'll draw this in with a red. I'll draw it in with this shade of red, so it's a different shade of red, dark red. At the same time, it's not within 1 degree, but it's still there. Mars is in an opposition to Pluto. This will actually come up next week, I believe. I have a cat on my lap. So this is the courage to learn. And remember, Pluto and Sagittarius is about transforming your ideals and beliefs. So it's reflecting on what you're learning and how is that changing or affecting your belief systems. So you've got these two planets, these two pairs of planets are both in opposition to each other. But Mars, and this is wider than 1 degree, but it's still there. Mars is still in this T square to the sun, and it's now in a T square to the moon. So learning to be emotionally present is what you're learning, helping you to be present emotionally. Also, is it also helping you become a better version of who you are? And remember, that can be strengthening strengthening your ability to learn. So there's part one. But at the same time, Pluto will be in a square to the sun and in a square to the moon for a brief moment, for the part of the day. So are these new belief systems? Are you able to shed old belief systems so you can embrace new ones? Are these new belief systems helping you to heal emotionally? Now, all that at the same time, though, is not only is Mars in a square to the sun, sun's in a square to Pluto, Pluto's in a square. So you've got these 4 squares going on. Pardon my lousy drawing. And that leads to, they call it a grand square. It can also be called the grand cross. And a key thing to interpreting this is we're going to look at something. I usually don't touch on this too much, but in this case, I'm going to because it's important. Each of these signs has what they call modality: cardinal, where you're starting; fixed, where you're stabilizing; or mutable, which is changing. And all of these signs are mutable. I'm going to draw here. I get too close to the bottom here, this bar pops up. So they're all mutable. Pull this out. So what does that mean, and how does that help you? Mutability, with all them being mutable signs, it makes it easier to make the changes. So all these energies can be working together to help you change and transform. So it's helping you to actually respond to the situations, change, transform, and this can actually help with all the goals of these planets. The sun in Virgo, becoming a better version; transforming your beliefs; learning to be present emotionally and healing; and having the courage to learn. All those can be reinforced. That can be incredibly powerful. And when it goes bad, when all this goes bad, everything fails. So Mars can fall into fear and express it as anger or cowardice in its ability to learn. Why can't I get this? The ego can get out of control in Virgo, unrealistic expectations and standards, and just collapsing in that, or thinking you're already perfect. You can't get any better than this. Pluto can become deeply wounding and be destructive of your belief systems. The moon, do we have to talk about being an emotional wreck here? And when it conjunct Chiron there, it can be deeply emotional wounding. So this can just all turn sour and just lead to endless problems. And think of that person who's just trying to juggle, and things get out of sync and everything just collapses. It's like endless. The analogy I have in my notes says endless endlings. It's like trying to plot on through this, but making a mess of everything that you touch, and things just go on and it just doesn't work well. What else? So, and its healthy state, it's very adaptable and responsive. In its unhealthy state, what happens is it just the best analogy I have is think of those Bugs Bunny cartoons where you've got that character on ice, and one character is skating gracefully and the other one, their feet's going all over the place, and they really need to just get themselves to the edge of the ice and get off before they face plant and get hurt. And that's what a graceless mess this can turn into. Unfortunately, this is only like early morning into the afternoon, because in the evening, oops, sorry, gotta close, oops, I need this because I need to clean all that out. Because in the evening, the moon goes into Aries. And so after working through all that, you're up for a courage and challenge. Ideally, if you work through that grand cross and work through that full moon, you've set this firm foundation and giving yourself the courage to move forward. And emotionally, you're feeling courage and you're up to the challenges and the expectations that you believe can help strengthen you. However, if that grand cross goes in a bad way, you can fall into fear, and it can lead to feelings of resentment, rage, cowardice, and just a bad evening. Thankfully, it's on Thursday. Friday. Did I mention it's Venus week? Venus enters Scorpio on Friday. Relationships, creativity into Scorpio. An opportunity for you to explore your relationships on a deeper level. Also explore your creativity in a deeper way and in a new way. Where are my notes here? Yeah, so build your relationships, take them to a deeper level. Honesty. Learn to be honest with yourself about your relationships and where you are in your relationships, and being honest with others can be very, very powerful. Be careful of falling into a dark drama, being moody, as it can separate you from others. It can lead to isolation, dark moods in art, ick. You need to go there. But be careful of that. And this is another Scorpio is actually another relatively quick transit. But yeah, this is an opportunity really to improve. I think if you work with Venus in Scorpio properly, you take your relationships and your creativity to a new and deeper and more honest level, and you understand each other better, and it can actually strengthen everything. So there we go. Saturday, moon enters Taurus. Thank you. So yes, the moon enters Taurus. Emotionally, we're up for a weekend of peace and stability. This will carry us through, I believe, into next Monday. Taurus is the larger of the small signs. So moon enters Taurus. Remember to calm yourself down physically today. Take time to chill out. If you can get outside, be outside. Hopefully it's nice weather. Find time for peace and quiet. Be still. Just not during this weekend, even if it's just a 5-minute break standing outside. 5 minutes is better than 0 minutes. So take time this weekend just to chill out. Otherwise, becoming stubborn, lazy can lead to prison inconsistency, boredom. Moon in Taurus can be the bull in a china shop. So you can be overly lazy, don't go that far, but avoid getting yourself angry and becoming that bull in a china shop, because you can do an excessive amount of damage and danger. And we give you 3 guesses on what planet we're going to talk about in the next slide. The first 2 don't count. Guess 1, guess 2. And we have Venus in Scorpio trining the North Node in Pisces. This happens actually very, very late Sunday night in the Eastern time zone, but it's going to affect people west, so I do want to talk about it. So Venus, again, taking relationships deep. The North Node in Pisces I have a spider crawling down. North Node is an evolutionary intention, and Pisces being present. Are you able to learn to release those things that are preventing you from being present in your relationships? If you are, it will help you to take your relationships to this deeper level and renew them. It'll be little things can go a long way. So expect to find purpose in relationships, especially if you explore them more deeply. Being present can be a strength here. Necessary just to trust people just because you can or you need to. Know that depth is possible and sometimes necessary for a relationship to grow. When you do it properly, you can really help your relationships grow. Um, Venus, slick and manipulative, in Scorpio, playing games in relationships, and Pisces can be falling into fantasies and deluding yourself, can lead to damage and wounding. Also can be lead to shallow relationships and or being friends with total strangers. So playing games with people can actually lead to endings and releasing and people saying, nice knowing you. So do be careful of that. Avoid the games if you can. You can also, yeah, be ignoring that. So there we go. And that's a short one. So if we have the North Node starting, that means next week we will see the South Node popping up as well. But it doesn't start until next week. I did poke my head into that. So do follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm also on the Digital Soul Space. These top three are making billions of dollars off of your data. Digital Soul Space, number one, is a private trolls-free zone. Three moderators. They're very good on keeping up on everything. And it's not just astrology. There's tarot, oracle cards, a wide variety of religious faiths, from Gnostic Christianity all the way through various forms of Wicca. I think I see Druids on there. Celtic, Native American, First Nations, yeah, First Nations. I think that's better. Word America trivia. Word America actually comes from an Italian name, Amerigo. Amerigo Vespucci. He actually drew one of the earliest European maps of Turtle Island, and I don't know what the southern continent is called. I'll just call it the southern continent because it's I don't let's call the continents what their real names are, you know, as given by the people who live there instead of the Western names. But there we go. But wide variety of opportunities to meet with a very, very open and interesting community. It's free. They do ask donations periodically to help cover costs, but 100% of what's donated is given to taking care of the site. And this is really cool for a plug there. They have a 33-day gratitude challenge. I got the journal. And it's really cool. You fill things out and helps you appreciate, helps you build the attitude of gratitude. I got that. That's a printed spiral bound version. All the money raised from that goes to help with the site. There's a free PDF version if you don't want to pay for it, and you can just download it. Michael made that, took a lot of time and effort, but really cool. That's coming up in November, 33 days of developing gratitude. So that's a free workshop that they're going to be doing. And let's go to this. Here we go. And if you go to the website, Freedom Through Astrology, a little bit about there, but if you want to see how your chart changes under a visible sky, astrology, true sidereal, constellational astrology, I do a mini reading that'll show you how it changes, and I do 6 points off of it, 6 key points. I do a full birth chart and past life reading, or I combine the two in a quick picture, which makes them all one big long story. But those are the first set of keys, is understanding really who you are. Very important. Second set of keys, understanding the horoscope. What are the life lessons you're facing right now? A life cycle, I can look at which is what that is. I was asked about this to explain it. I look at the outer planets, Jupiter through Pluto, plus Chiron and the nodes, and I look at where they are in the sky this year, and this year can start if you want. And I look where they are versus their natal position and what lessons. So this, usually that is something that gets buried in the yearly horoscope, but it gets lost in the details. So I pull it out and make it a reading all of its own if you would prefer it that way. It's actually very powerful. But your life cycle, yearly horoscope does not have to go January to January. It can go whatever you want. It can be based off your culture. I have a Jewish friend who we're starting it, Yom Kippur. And so it starts in for him in September. His New Year starts in September. I have a person who's First Nations. His nations has their New Year is on the midwinter solstice. I have some people who have asked me to do it on their birthday, and others who have asked me to do the spring equinox. Somebody asked me to do it using the Chinese Lunar New Year. They're not Asian, but they said it works best for them. So that can happen anytime. So I can do the yearly, I can do a 3 month, I can do a monthly. I like to do this new moon to new moon, but if you want to do it by the calendar, I can do that. Um, and I do have packages where if you buy a package, those are bundled together, those readings that are bundled together, and there's a 10% discount built in on top of that. So let me minimize that. Let's go back here and slideshow current slide. So do follow me, share. Thank you for watching this. Aside from the technical difficulties, because my internet's mixed up and my cats are being crazy, follow, share, or shallow fair. Sign up for the newsletter. Remember, in invisible sky, your life changes. Thank you very much. Have the best week possible.